Markets are headed for a lower open this morning. Very interesting. As a result, even though it looks like all things are pointing in the direction that the Fed is expected to launch another round of economic stimulus. Now, that's not me saying that. I'm reading from an article just crossing the Newswire at MarketWatch and just talking about this idea of economic stimulus. I really dislike that title of economic stimulus. It's market stimulus, folks. It's not economic stimulus because it hasn't done squat to improve the fundamentals of the economy, though there are many out there that would argue that point. They're welcome to argue it. They can argue it all they want. But you know what? You just have to look at the numbers, folks, to understand that there has been no fundamental change in this economy in the last 4 years. So it looks like they're talking, and they're still calling it QE3. I'm not calling it QE3. I'm calling it QEI right now, QE indefinite, because the fact of the matter is there is a possibility. We won't know this until it's actually talked about and launched, but there is a very, very distinct possibility that the Fed may say quantitative easing and not put a cap on the amount of bonds or amount of bond buying they are going to do. In other words, they're not going to say we're going to buy up to $600 billion worth of government debt by the end of June of next year or something like that. There's a possibility that they may leave it just open-ended, which means there won't be a QE 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8, or 9, as I have been saying for the last 2 years, because there won't need to be. They'll just keep on going for as long as the Treasury Department, well, wait a minute, the Treasury Department, that's a government agency. It's got nothing to do with the Fed. No. As long as the Treasury Department needs it. The only thing that's likely to change is the replacement of Ben Bernanke, which if Mitt Romney is hired as president, he has indicated that he will fire Ben Bernanke. We know Timothy Geithner is going one way or another because he has only agreed to stay on through the election. So it is likely that in January, if President Barack Obama is elected and sworn in, that Timothy Geithner will be stepping down, and I'm sure that President Obama will appoint another brilliant academic or government employee to run the Treasury Department. Anyway, so we'll have to see how that shakes out. But right now, the markets are down, even though they're expecting it. And we're getting bad news coming out of other areas of the market. Many investors are obviously certain. I'm not certain of anything, but although it sure looks it. And by the way, if they do it, it's purely a political move, in my opinion. But many investors are certain that the Fed is poised for a new round of economic stimulus. But some observers are asking whether central bank actions are reaching the point of diminishing returns. Do you think? Reaching the point of diminishing returns? Exactly when did they have any kind of returns in the economic stimulus that they say they're having? I haven't seen any returns. See, returns would be, let me give you an example of a return. A return would be people actually getting hired and the unemployment rate actually going down. Not smoke and mirrors going down, but really going down because people are entering the workforce, people are finding jobs, people are having no trouble at all finding a job. That's what it would mean. All right? It would mean, real economic stimulus would mean that we would see, poverty rate going down, not going up. It would mean less people, in all likelihood, filing for disability benefits instead of more, since more people are probably going to be able to find a job. It would be less people in that 250,000 range filing for new unemployment claims instead of staying above 380 or so on average. It would actually mean that the median wage of a family would be going up as opposed to looking at, numbers from the 80s. See, it would mean a lot of different things if it was actually economic stimulus. Now, if it's market stimulus, that's a different story, because you're seeing some great defensive stocks going up in value. The market in general doing very well. I would consider very well as compared to the rest of the world. That's market stimulus, folks. That's not economic stimulus. The idea being that the market stimulus is going to lead to economic stimulus, but the fact is the market stimulus has led to no economic stimulus. Of course, that's just my opinion. The Treasury today obviously seeking to sell and will likely sell $18 billion worth of AIG stock. That will make us, by the way, you and I, being in the insurance business that we're in, you and I being taxpayers, we're in the insurance business. We actually own 72% of AIG. Okay, so we are a majority stakeholder in the AIG insurance company. That was part of the bailout that we did. Well, this will make us a minority shareholder, drop us down below 50% owner of AIG. That's always good news in my book. I don't want to be in the insurance business. I don't want to be in the auto industry. I don't want to be in the banking business with my taxpayer dollars. All I want to do with my taxpayer dollars is support the government services that we need, not what the government would like, but the government services that we need. That's why we pay tax. Don't have a problem with that. Think we should pay taxes. Think we should pay taxes for that reason. China's industrial output continued to slow in the month of August, while inflation showed initial signs of rising in the latest string of worrying reports coming out of Asia. Another reason why we're likely to see a negative open. We keep seeing these signs of manufacturing and the economic and the economy of China slowing. Now, slowing for China is probably a real bad slowing economy in China would be about a 6% output for GDP growth. Wouldn't we love to have 6% GDP growth? But nevertheless, it's a far cry from 9 or 10%. And it is, in fact, slowing. And they have billions of people that they got to put to work. Here's something interesting. French new president, socialist, radical socialist president, French president, Hollande, outlined a raft of new austerity measures, including a controversial tax on the rich, to shore up the public sector financing, to shore up all the giveaway programs that they have. Let's just tax them. He is trying to stick to a campaign promise of taxing the rich of 75% of their income. That's what he's trying to stick to. Isn't that lovely? So that's happening. In the meantime, international inspectors have rejected Greece's proposed austerity plan, forcing the Greece coalition government to seek some sort of fresh new spending cuts. In other words, they got to go back to the drawing board and start cutting more. I don't know. How much more can you? They won't have a government if they continue to cut. But remember, it is the government. That's the whole Greece economy. It is the government, and they got to continue to cut. So I suspect that unemployment rate, if that's possible, it already reached an all-time high this month, but I would expect that it's going to continue to go up.